in this webinar. So I hope my presentation is visible to everyone. So yeah. So thank you for joining today's webinar, everyone. So today we are going to talk about, as Dr. Sab said, on the topic legal aspects of startups in India. So before that, as you know, my name is Mohammed Muyeen, and I'm delighted to be your speaker for this session. So now let me share a bit about myself. I'll just introduce about my background and expertise in this field. So I born and brought up in Bangalore, and I have completed my BCom graduation from Bangalore University, specialized in finance and taxation. Post that, I did my MBA from Central College Bangalore University, specialized in finance and marketing. Then currently, I'm also pursuing certified management accountant US and also certified public accountant US. But it's not yet completed. And coming to my experience part, I started my journey as an accountant post my graduation. I worked in one institute by name Lord's Memorial English School. Post that, after MBA, I got an opportunity to work as a lecturer in Alumni Institute of Management Studies, where I used to teach for a BBA students some subjects like accounting and all. So, as my interest wasn't to enter into the corporate field, my vision was to, from the starting day itself, to build something and to know how the corporate works, companies works, and all. So, I got an opportunity to work as a finance manager at Pazo. So currently, still I'm working at Pazo itself. Yeah, so this is my brief introduction. So as we, so our topic would be, as I said, legal aspects of startups in India. So as Dr. Saab said, this is one of the very critical subject where it should be considered before starting up in India. And so today, I will be just in this presentation, we will discuss what all topics will be covered. So first thing would be the importance of legal considerations before starting up the company, and the business structures in India, and company registration process, and the importance of obtaining a certificate of incorporation. Then we will be discussing about regulatory compliances, contracts and agreements, and what role does contracts and agreements plays, why it is important, and key employment laws in India. And also we will be discussing on funding and securities law, and overview of taxation for startups, including the corporate tax, and the importance of keeping accurate financial records, that is bookkeeping, and the exit strategies for startups, and the legal considerations during the exit planning. And we will be also discussing about the case study on Byju's, why it failed, and what role does corporate governance and financial management plays in Byju's downfall. We will be discussing about this case. And finally, that's the conclusion, and we can have some question and answer session. So, so first slide, as I said to you, we will be discussing about the importance of legal considerations. So before starting up, so before starting up a business, it may be any kind of entity. It may be sole proprietorship or one person company, or it may be LLP or a private limited company. Considering the legal aspects would be very important, because it will avoid many problems of the future. So I'll just discuss one by one. So first thing which I have mentioned in the PPT is about challenge avoidance. So here, I just wanted to tell about navigating the legal landscape can shield our business from potential pitfalls and challenges. So understanding and addressing all these legal issues can save, as a founder of a company, of our time, money, and headaches down the road. And the second thing would be establishing trust. So trust is very important. So trust I can say trust is the currency of a business. So ensuring legal transparency and compliance fosters trust among customers, partners, and all the stakeholders. So I will be discussing how a solid legal foundation contributes to building and maintaining trust in our business relationships. And we have a preserving innovations. So as there are many professionals who have joined in this webinar, so they are professionals and they wanted to make some innovations here where intellectual property loss comes into matter. So intellectual property laws are crucial for safeguarding our innovative ideas and creations. So legal considerations can help us protect the assets and maintain a competitive edge in the market. So the next would be moving on to compliance with employment laws, understanding and adhering to the employment laws is very important for a harmonious work environment in the company. So we will explore how compliances not only reduces the legal risks but also contributes to a positive workplace culture. And also, our next point is reducing or mitigating the disputes. So disputes are inevitable in business, but their impact can be minimized through well-crafted legal agreements from the startup point itself. And also maintaining a professional image is our next focus. So legal compliances enhances our professional reputation and sets a positive tone for the business. And also smooth operations are crucial for any business success. So legal considerations play a key role in ensuring that your day-to-day operations run smoothly. And we have positive work environment. So one thing about positive work environment, it's not just a nice to have, but a must have for employee satisfaction and productivity. And also smooth transitions. So legal strategies can streamline transitions such as mergers, acquisitions, or restructuring at the time of exit planning, and also attracting investment. So this is very important as our vision at the time of starting up a company those innovations or the products whatever we are developing a new product. So our vision would be to take that product to the international level or the global level, all across the countries. And for that we require an investment. It is very important. And legal considerations at the initial time of the starting up itself play a vital role for attracting an investment from the investors. It is often a critical phase for businesses. So investors look for stability and legal compliances. It matters a lot at the time of raising the funds. And also access to incentives. There are many incentives or the grants and benefits provided by the government of India. I would just give an example of once your startup is recognized by the startup government DPIIT, that is from government India startup department. So you will be getting many advantages from that, many grants from that. So I'll just give an example about yeah. So from Startup India, if there is an innovative, you have innovative idea, so they will be providing a grant of up to 50 lakhs, and this is from the central government. Additionally, if the startup is recognized by the government of India from Startup Karnataka, so additional 50 to 20 lakhs of grant would be provided. So for this, all things, legal considerations matters a lot. If you are legally strong at the basics of starting up, so it matters a lot. So because before making investments and providing the grants and all, so most of the government entities look into the strong base of legal thing. And last, but certainly not least, it is a tax compliance. So navigating the complex world of taxes is essential for financial stability. So these are some of the points which I just told about importance of legal aspects while starting up a company. So moving to the next slide. So in the next 8 minutes, yeah, we will be exploring the main characteristics and considerations of five common business structures in India. So first thing would be sole proprietorship, and we have one person company, and we have partnership firm, limited liability partnership, and private limited company. So let's get started. So first thing would be sole proprietorship. So first on our list is the sole proprietorship itself. This is the simplest form of business where most of the people know about it. So where one individual owns and operates the entire business. So you as the owner have full control and you will be able to receive all the profits of the company. You will be enjoying it, but you are also personally responsible for all debts and liabilities. So I may suggest this structure is ideal for small ventures and freelancers. And the next would be one person company. So as the name suggests, an OPC, that is one person company, is a company established by a single person. A single individual establishes and manages the company. An OPC has all the features of a company, that's a private limited company, such as perpetual succession, limited liability, and a separate legal entity. So I will just give a glimpse about some of the advantages of one person company and some of the disadvantages so that you will get to understand. And yeah, so advantages would be there are less compliances when compared to the private limited company. But in proprietorship, as I told to you, there are no compliances. So compliance in the sense in private limited company, when you go to incorporation of a private limited company, there are a lot of compliances in terms of affixed by ROC. That is auditing and annual general meeting. You have to file the IT returns, and there are many compliances every month and every 6 months. So, but in case of one person company, there are less compliances, and it is very easy to incorporate. This is one of the second advantage, and we can say it is very easy to manage. So coming to disadvantages for one person company, it is best suitable for small businesses. And yeah, so this is one of the and also the ownership and the management thing would be there. And next we have the partnership structure. So partnerships are formed when two or more individuals come together to manage and operate a business in accordance with the terms and objectives set in the partnership deed. So profits and losses are shared among partners, and each partner is responsible, liable for the business debts. So some of the advantages of partnership firm is it is also very easy to incorporate, and there are less compliances when compared to a private limited company, and it's a quick decision cutting. And some of the disadvantages of a partnership firm is sorry, some of the disadvantages of a partnership firm would be I can say it is very difficult to raise funds in case of partnership firm. And let's talk about the limited liability partnership or LLP. So LLP combines elements of partnerships and corporations. So I can say the key feature is limited liability, meaning each partner is not personally responsible for the actions of other partners. This structure, I may say, is ideal for professionals like lawyers, accountants, or I can say consultants. So yeah, so next moving on to the next part, it's private limited company. So now this is one of the most popular structures for medium to large sized business in India. So a private limited company, in simple, I can say it is a separate legal entity from its owners known as a shareholders. So it offers limited liability to shareholders and allows for easy to transfer of shares. So this structure often attracts investors due to its scalability and growth potential. So most of the founders in India prefer for a private limited company. The reason being is, but as I said to you, there are a lot of compliances involved in the private limited company ka structure. But I can just give an example where if I ask anybody or somebody to just to deposit a money in the bank, so obviously that person prefers to deposit a money in the bank which is regulated by the Reserve Bank of India, because he thinks if he deposits the money in SBI, it is safe because it is regulated by the RBI, and his money is safe in that bank account. If same thing, I'll just compare it to it. So if you opt for a private limited company, so this is regulated by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and it is very important for trust building in the market and also attracting the investors for raising the funds and all. So let's say, for example, you have started a SaaS company or you have developed your own product, you are an amazing engineer and you wanted to scale that business all over India initially. And yeah, in order to scale that, in order to build the trust among the customers, among the stakeholders, among the vendors, if you say it is a private limited company, yeah, obviously it builds the trusts. And second thing, it is very easy to raise the funds and all in India if it is a private limited company. So that's the reason most of the people in India prefer to go for the private limited company incorporation. So next slide, I'll just move on. This is the process of company registration in India. So company registration for incorporating a private limited company in India, we need the help of a company secretariat or a chartered accountant. His membership ID is important to get registered. So first step would be choosing a business name. So choosing a business name in the sense, so most of the people decide some name, but it should be available in the business directory of India, and it should be not trademarked by somebody in India. So that's the reason when we choose some 10 to 15 names and we provide to the vendor who is registering our company, so some auditor. So first we will apply for the business name, and so then the name would be allotted by the government. So once the name is allotted, the step two would be obtaining the digital signatures. So obviously, uh, if we want to go with the private limited company registration, there should be two minimum directors in the company. Yeah. And the third step would be applying for the director identification number. So each director, so as I said to you, there should be two directors at the time of registering the company. So there will be two directors. So for each director, we will be getting it in. And step four would be filing for name approval. And step five would be filing incorporation documents, and step six, paying the registration fees, and step seven would be obtaining a certificate of incorporation and then applying for PAN. And next would be the registration for the goods and services tax, that is GST. And post incorporation, there will be some compliances. So there is some technical problems going on in India where the MCA portal is handled by, I believe, LTI Mindtree. And due to some technical glitches, the incorporation process is going on from 30 to 40 days. For some companies, it is taking 60 days. So once obtaining the certificate of incorporation, we have to open the current account and we have to apply for the PAN, TAN, and all. So then we can get the GST certificate. So post incorporation compliances, in simple, I can say once the business is incorporated, there are some forms to be filed where we have to declare to the government stating that okay, yeah, we are going to commence the business. So yeah, this is the company registration process in India. And yeah, moving to the next slide, uh, let's understand the importance of obtaining a certificate of incorporation. So why certificate of incorporation is very important? So in just a few minutes, we will explore how this document can elevate our startup or the business and provide essential benefits. So first thing I would say about legal recognition. So first and foremost, the certificate of incorporation grants our business legal recognition. And second thing would be limited liability. Next up is that is protection. This certificate shields, in simple I can say, shields are personal business assets from business debts, offering a safety net for you and your partners. And third would be business transactions. That is additionally having a certificate of incorporation facilitates smoother business transactions. It, I can say, instills confidence in partners and clients, making transactions more straightforward and secure. And we have credibility. Having this certificate also enhances our business's credibility. It signals to the customers or the stakeholders and suppliers, investors, that your business is serious, committed, and trustworthy, as I said in the previous slide. So access to funding is easier with a certificate of incorporation, which I discussed in the previous slide. It also attracts investors and financial institutions, making it simpler to secure funding for your business. So post this, so we will be discussing about the regulatory compliances. So in this slide, here's an overview of regulatory compliance requirements for startups in India. So first thing would be for any startup which has been started. So first regulatory compliance would be business registration. As I said to you in the previous, we spoke about the various structures of business in India in the previous slides. And the second compliance would be goods and services tax registration, that is GST registration. And next would be labor laws compliances, and we will be having a tax deduction at source. And this TDS is related to business. So when you start your own startup, so when you are making the payments to the vendors, so you will be deducting the TDS based upon the number of slabs. For example, if you are making a payment to the vendor who is providing the technical services, and we have to deduct 2% if you are as a business owner or a founder making the payment to a vendor who is providing a professional services to your company or your startup, you will be reducing 10% of TDS amount. So there are certain slabs affixed by the government. So these are certain compliances which should be kept in mind. And income tax compliances, and we will be having statutory audit where the auditing should be completed as per the government regulations to at the end of the financial year. And also data protection and privacy policies and contractual agreements, environmental compliances, some of the intellectual property protection. Let's say, for example, you have innovated some product or SaaS product or any kind of product, for there are many regulations or compliances imposed by the government on this protection. And also we have compliance with securities laws and also compliance reporting. So moving to the next slide, we will be discussing about the contracts and agreements. So here we will be discussing the importance of well-drafted contracts for employees, in terms of clients and in terms of vendors. So contracts and agreements plays a vital role in the startups, where for employees, as I have mentioned in the slide, it clearly outlines roles, responsibilities, and expectations. And also it provides a legal framework for employment terms and all. And we can say it defines ownership of intellectual properties. And coming from the perspective of clients, it is very important to draft a contract and agreements before making any business transactions with the clients. So usually how the process work in startups and a private limited company is, let's say for example you have started a product based company, and you are selling that product to Sodexo, a facility management company for managing the facilities. And yeah, before making any transactions, drafting a legal agreement by taking a consultation with the respective corporate lawyer, it will be very important because it outlines the scope of work and what all will be the deliverables and also the timelines. Also it specifies the payment terms and invoicing procedures and all. So like for example, most of the vendors, they prefer to make the payments in 45 days, but we can draft in the agreement saying that it will be make the payment terms would be 30 days. And invoicing procedures, most of the companies prefer to go the invoicing procedure for monthly basis. If so most of the startups doesn't go for monthly basis because they opt for quarterly basis, so we can mention all those stuff in the agreements. And also it includes the confidentiality and non disclosure clauses. So from the perspective of the vendors, so it defines service levels, performance metrics, and penalties, and also outlines the payment terms. And as I mentioned in the previous thing, and delivery schedules, also establishes dispute resolution and mechanisms. Yeah, so moving to the next slide. So let's explore the key employment laws that every employer or as a founder of a startup and employee should be aware of, the person who is working under you. So first thing would be employees provident fund. So as most of the professionals who have joined this webinar are working in some of the big MNCs and all, so they know about EPF because in every month as they receive the salary, the PF amount would be deducted and deposited in their respective PF account. So employees provident fund is a social security scheme that aims to provide, in simple I can say, financial stability to employees after their retirement. So most of the employers or the founders of startups and employees contribute to this fund and ensuring a reliable source of income post employment. And next we have employee state insurance. And even I know you have some idea about it. So from the perspective of a founder, so employee state insurance scheme is designed to provide medical and cash benefit to employees in case of sickness, maternity, disablement, or we can say death due to employment related injuries. So most of the founders of startups or employers, we can say, and employees contribute to this fund, so that ensuring healthcare support during critical times and all. And also we have employees state insurance act. So this is I can say this encompasses the framework for the administration of the ESI scheme, and it establishes the rules and regulations that govern the implementation of the scheme, so ensuring both employers and employees understand their roles and responsibilities. Also we have Industrial Employment Act. So this act is aimed at regulating employment conditions in industrial establishments. And this matters a lot for the manufacturing companies, pharmaceutical companies, or the companies which are manufacturing some of the critical chemicals. And yeah, this is best suitable for that. It mandates the employers to define the terms of employment, work conditions, and disciplinary procedures through standing orders and all. And we have Payment of Gratuity Act. So the Payment of Gratuity Act, I can say, this ensures that employees receive a gratuity payment from their employers in recognition of their long and uh, meticulous service which they are rendering. This act is applicable to establishments employing 10 or more persons. So providing financial security to employees upon retirement, resignation, and all in India. So these are all some of the employment laws we discussed in this slide. So moving to the next slide, we will be discussing about the employee contracts and compliance with labor laws. So as most of the people would be thinking of startup, so before starting up, considering all these aspects would be very much important. And this is also very important: employee contracts and compliance with labor laws. So first thing would be employment contracts. So it says in the subject line itself. So employment contracts form the foundation of the employer and employee relationship. In simple, we can say this. And these legally binding documents outlines the terms and conditions of employment. So this is very important to maintain a trust between the employer and a employee. So when you are making a startup as a founder, the basic or the initial team building is very important. The team matters a lot because they are putting the foundation and they are building the business. So most of the startups, even I have worked at Pazo, I just being working as a business finance manager. Also, I handle some legal aspects in the company where I'll be coordinating with some of the international lawyers, as this is a US based company. I noticed one, I will just wanted to give this live example. So this company was established in 2013, and the founders Hello.
Yes, Moin bhai, we lost your voice
Uh,
in between.
sorry. Due to some internet
Yeah.
issue.
Can you please repeat from past 2 minutes?
Sure, Doctor.
Thank you.
So yeah. So as I was discussing about employment contracts, I was just telling about the live example about the company where I am working. So this company was established in 2013, and when the founder established this, there were three directors, and they just started building the team. So post 5 to 6 years, there was no proper employment contracts and documentation work and all. Due to this, there's some misunderstanding happened between the founding team and the founder, and or the employer or the CEO of the company. So it affects a lot in the growth and scalability of the business. So keeping considering this employment contracts from the initial basis would be very much important as a founder of a startup. And yeah, this maternity benefit act, yeah, this is a crucial piece of legislation designed to ensure the well-being of women employees during pregnancy and childbirth and all. So it mandates provisions for maternity leave, nursing breaks, and other benefits. Most of the people know about it. And we have working hours and overtime. So coming to this point, understanding to the working hours and overtime regulations are very much important to compliance with labor laws, both from the perspective of an employer as a startup founder, and also from the perspective of an employee of the company. So understanding these regulations are very much important. So the law stipulates, I'll just put it across like this: the maximum number of working hours per week, and any work beyond these hours qualifies for overtime pay. So adhering or following to these regulations is crucial for both employee well-being and legal compliance. And next is termination and severance. So termination and severance are sensitive topics, so that require careful considerations. So labor laws in India provide guidelines for fair and lawful termination procedures, but most of them are not aware about it. So, as a startup founder, so we should be very much aware about this procedures and lawful guidelines and all implemented by the government of India. So, employers must follow a due process, ensuring the terminations are justified and carried out in compliance with legal requirements. Additionally, severance packages may be applicable under certain circumstances. So, providing financial support to employees during transition periods. And the last is employee provident fund and gratuity, which we discussed about this in the last slide. So these are some of the employee contract and compliance topics related to labor laws. So I just gave a glimpse about it because as a founder, we should be aware about these laws and all. So because as a startup founder, the team matters a lot. It is not a founder who is the one who will be alone building the company and scaling and growing the company all across the globe. It is a team which matters a lot. And through legal considerations, through agreements, contracts, and proper documentations, we can achieve our goals and scaling our product based company to all across the globe. And moving to the next slide, we have funding and securities law. So here in this segment, we will explore the diverse landscape of funding options available for businesses and the legal considerations associated with it. This is very important. So, as we know, the various types of fundraising options available in India. So the first thing is angel investors. We know who are the angel investors. So I can just put it across like this: the individuals who provide a capital in exchange for equity and who wanted to help. And yeah, most of the angel investors are the family members or the relatives who just wanted to invest in your startup. And the next would be often entrepreneurs or industry experts would be acting as an angel investors. And yeah, so informal agreements but legal documentation is crucial for clarity. So what I meant to be saying here is, most of the startup founders, so what I have realized is they come from the technical background. They build an amazing product, but they will be having a less awareness and knowledge about the business administration, that is sales, marketing, and legal and finance, which is very important. So at the time of raising the investment from the angel investors, we will be very much happy stating that yeah, we have got an investment from the angel investors, but we forget to make an agreements or the legal documentation from them, which will be a hectic problem when your company or a startup will be in a growth stage or in a scaling stage. So I will just give an example of LTI Mindtree over here. Not here. I'll just talk about it in the future slides. So agreements matters a lot at the time of taking the funds from the angel investors. And next we have venture capital, that is VCs. So this is a trendy thing going on in the market where most of the startups raise seed B, that is funds. Once you have raised the funds from the angel investors, the next round you wanted to go to the VCs. So I will just give a glimpse about it. Why most of the startups prefer to take an investment from VCs? Because venture capitalists. I'll just give an example of, we have some of couple of VCs like Antler. This is one of the known venture capitalist companies all across the world. And we have SoftBank. So they will be having a very good contacts all across the globe. So when you get a fund from these companies, they not only invest the funds but also they provide the contacts and their links for growing and scaling your startup. So most of the VCs, in simple, we can say they are the professional funds investors investing in high potential startups where they see it has a very good scalability. And we have stringent due diligence and legal documentation at the right time of raising the funds from the VCs, we will be having a due diligence part, which is conducted very strictly by the legal team of the VCs. So what I am trying to say over here is, from the baseline, from the founding day itself, when we are maintaining a proper legal documentations matters a lot at the time of raising the funds from the VCs. So, because due diligence is what, in simple, we can say it is an evaluation of the legal and financial documents of a startup. If it is good, if it is viable, if it is fine, if it is well drafted and streamlined in a very systematic way from the founding line itself, so then it will be very easier to raise the funds from the VCs. And next we have crowdfunding. So crowdfunding, the name itself says funding from the crowd. And so there are a lot of regulations for crowdfunding from India. So before doing this, consideration of all those laws and all will be very important. And most of the startups doesn't go for crowdfunding. And in simple, I can say crowdfunding is accessing to the funds from a large number of contributors. So most of the crowdfunding goes for some, like for example, somebody is hospitalized or some personal issues and all. So they go for this crowdfunding. Nothing, very less startups go for crowdfunding. And the last thing is private equity, where I can say investment from institutional investors, where the institutions, financial institutions and all, they make an investment in the startups. And at the time of same thing here, what I portrayed about the legal documentations, streamlining process, documentation at the time of venture capitalist talking about this topic. So legal agreements govern terms, condition, and exit strategies and all. So drafting this in a very well manner from a founding day itself, it matters a lot at the time of raising the funds from private equity firms also. Yeah. So yeah, we discussed some of the fundraising options over here, and how the legal aspect would be matters a lot at the time of raising funds. We also discussed about it in this slide. And yeah, moving to the next slide, taxation. This is very important. And in this slide, we will be discussing about the overview of taxation for startups, including corporate tax, which is important. So again, yeah, corporate tax, in simple, I can say the tax levied on a company's profits. So whatever the company, the profits made by the company, so on that we have a slab rates fixed by the government. As we have income tax for a salaried person, we have different slab rates. Same slab rate is fixed by the government for where we should pay the income tax on the company's profits. And yeah, as I said, the rate would be dependent on the company's turnover. And coming to the legal considerations about it, so regular filing of returns and adherence is very important. These are the statutory requirements by the government. And yeah, moving to the next thing is applicable deductions. So here I want to talk about the tax benefits under Section 80 IAC for eligible startups. So the government of India has done a wonderful work about the Startup India, where once your startup is recognized by the DPIIT, as I discussed in the previous slides, one thing is the startup, you will be eligible to get the grants from the government of 20 lakhs or up to 50 lakhs. And also one of the best benefit I talk about it is tax benefits, where you will be as a startup founder, and as a startup the tax will be exempted for 3 consecutive years. So these are all some of the applicable deductions available. And also I just want to tell about research and development here, where some of the deductions are also available for R&D expenses. So this is be adopted by the government due to for encouraging the startups in innovation and all. And we have employee stock options plan. So most of the startups go with ESOPs. The reason they provide ESOPs to the employees is they wanted to sustain their employees, and also there are certain tax benefits implied by the government of India for startup on issuing the ESOPs. So these are all some of the tax compliances under deductions. Then we have GST, as I discussed about GST, goods and services tax. So these was replaced by multiple indirect taxes in India, which were many during those days before 2013 and all. And we have compliance under this as regular GST filings and adherence to rates based on goods and services is very important. So as a startup founder, being a private limited company, or whether it may be LLP or a OPC, so whatever the business transactions you are making every month, for those transactions we have to file the GSTR returns. So being compliant to these filings and taxations and all, it will be very much helpful to build the trust in the mind of customers, and also to raise the funds from the investors. And there is a tax incentives and exemptions. So as I told, okay, most of the eligible startups by the DPIIT Startup India can benefit from tax holidays. And also there's one section by name 1023 FB provides deductions for certain investments and all. And next we have minimum alternate tax. This is MAT. In simple terms, I can say MAT is a provision in the Indian income tax system that ensures companies, including startups, may pay a minimum amount of tax. So even if a company claims various deductions and exemptions, there are many companies who does a lot of strategies to reduce the taxes, make a lot of deductions. But the government of India has come up with one decision where even if a company claims various deductions and exemptions also, MAT sets a baseline to prevent companies from reducing their tax liability to zero. It ensures that every company contributes a minimum percentage of its profit to taxes, regardless of other allowances or losses. So, yeah, this is a short glimpse about what is MAT, and these are all some of the overview of taxation for startups and all. And moving to the next slide, this is importance of keeping accurate financial records. This is very important because most of the companies and the startups at the initial time of building a company, they lack in this. And as they will be involving in a lot of activities, and they will be involved in the growth and scaling the business and all. So they just don't prefer to go into this part and all. So keeping accurate financial records matters a lot in terms of investors confidence, and for tax planning, for legal compliances, and reducing a lot of risks over there. And also it helps in preparing for the audit and the compliance with the tax laws, and also avoiding a lot of penalties from the government. And also the main thing which is very important is financial planning and analysis. So here I just wanted to give one live example where one of my colleague who works at Pazo, he's doing his pursuing his MBA from ISB, and he was just telling to me most of the startups just don't give importance for finance and maintaining the accurate records and all. So he was telling one of the professor in ISB told that finance matters a lot in the startups. So the decisions made by based upon the numbers provided by the CFO or the person who is managing the finance matters a lot in the growth and scalability of the business. So most of the businesses which has been sustained, as per my knowledge and as per my experiences by talking to most of the professors and all, So the decisions made based upon the finance and proper accurate records, and also upon the numbers, matters a lot in the success of the business or of a startup. So I suggest, being a startup founder, from a founding day itself, we should be very much considerable in terms of legal and financial aspects. So next slide, here in this slide, we would be discussing about some of the exit strategies. So here these are some of the exits strategies for the startup founders. One is mergers and acquisitions, and then we have initial public offering. So these are all some of the exit strategies. We have management buyout and buy-in, so strategic partnerships, private equity, secondary sale, global expansion, and liquidation. So most of the startup founders, at some stage, they think about exiting from the startup. Like they have built the company, now just they wanted to exit from it. So the best these are some of the strategies where you can merge with some company. I'll just give an example about mergers and acquisitions. So recently one accounting and taxation firm was acquired by a TMF group. It is a accounts management company. It is operating in 99 countries, and this TMF group acquired one company of CA firm for 400 crores in 200 crores in India. So this is some of the exit strategies of a startups. And moving to the next slide, we have some of the legal considerations during exit planning. So, so in legal considerations, these due diligence, contractual obligations. That's what, as I said in the previous slides. So, exit strategies, we just went through with it. I just gave an example of acquiring of TMF Group to one SCA firm. But the thing is, from the initial time itself, the legal and financial aspects should be clear, as I said in the previous slides. So due diligence is the thing where it will be considered by the acquiring firm at the time of acquisition. And we have contractual obligations, we have IP rights and employee agreements, regulatory approvals, shareholder agreements, and financial compliances, confidentiality agreements, and post exit legal protections, and compliance with corporate laws. And yeah, so moving to the next slide, I just wanted to discuss a case study about Byju's. So this is very much, I hope all the professionals who are in the webinar well know about Byju's, what's going on with it. I was just listening one of the podcast of Mohandas Pai. So he was the ex CFO of Infosys, and so he was just talking to Shraddha Sharma, the co-founder and CEO of Your Story. When I was hearing this video on YouTube, so he was just telling कि why Byju's, where did it fail. And before going into it, I just wanted to tell कि Mohandas Pai has been uh, employed by the Byju's founders, and they have requested him to help them out in terms of compliances, corporate governance, and finance cutting and all, and also in order to reduce the problem which they are facing as of now. So the case is, Byju's is a very unique case. Ravi Chandran, he built a company worth $22 billion, and during COVID, he saw massive growth. We know about it. So all the companies were running down, and Byju's was making amazing, and he saw a massive growth, and suddenly the market came down. And he has been through a lot of pain. We know about it. There are a lot of criticisms going on social media, and a lot of videos are popping up about how the work culture is going on by Jews and all. So he has been going with a lot of pain and everything. And it is true, when Mohandas Pai in that interview said, it is true that when a startup grow, so fast in 3 or 4 years that you didn't build the structures to make you a $22 billion company. So this is the point which he talked about, and the main thing what I wanted to fetch over here is, and he told that the CEO of Byju's fell back on compliances. There is very important sentence which he told, and fell back on accounting, compliance, and Byju's didn't had a CFO, and the team that he had possibly could not manage the expectation. So that's the reason they fell down. And as I told in the previous slide, one of my colleague who is just the chief business officer at Pazo, he's doing his MBA from ISB. He told he had been worked in Byju's for almost 4 years after his undergraduation, and even he had worked into the founding team into the sales. And when we were talking, he told me the problem with the Byju's was, Byju's founders and the founding team and the directors took the decisions based upon the suggestions and the opinions given by the sales and marketing guys. So sales and marketing guys, they just speak on the assumptions. To be honest and in simple, they just talk about assumptions ke ye sale hoga, this will be happen in future, all those stuff. But he told ke the problem and the mistake what they did was, they didn't make the decisions based upon the honest opinions and suggestions given by the legal and CFO team of the Byju's. And as Mohandas Paika thing I just portrayed here, he told that they didn't had the CFO, and the reason behind their unsuccessful thing was they fell back on compliances part and also accounting. Compliance and accounting is the and also the legal aspects. So that is the problem. Now they are facing a lot of issues. And maybe you have also heard that they haven't paid the salaries for the employees from past 6 to 7 months, and also they haven't deposited the money into the PF accounts of respective employees and all. So these issues comes when the reason why I just wanted to portray this case study is, I just wanted to tell about why the Byju's went unsuccessful. And so, as a founder of a startup, before starting up, we should be very much conscious about the legal aspects, and also in terms of finance and accounting. If we are very much conscious and we are building a very strong base with it, then whatever the vision of ours is to take the product to the global level and the domestic in all the states of India, so only it will be happening and it will be successful when we are very much conscious from the base about the legal and the compliance and accounting and finance part. So yeah, I just wanted to portray about this on this case study. And yeah, conclusion is, so my advice is, my suggestion is my seeking professional legal advice for is very crucial for startups in India, and their guidance is essential for reducing many risks, establishing a solid legal foundation, and promoting the long-term success of your startup. Yeah, so this was a couple of topics which I had discussed over here. So now, if you have any questions, please ask so that I can try to answer those questions.
Thanks
Hello.
a lot, Moin bhai. It was extremely important and informative for all of us. I think there are few
Yeah.
questions on the chat, and people can unmute themselves and ask questions also.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Uh, Actually, I wanted to know if someone is working on a MVP or a like minimum viable product to test out the idea whether it fits to the market and whether uh, it's okay enough to work on that idea. And at what
Mhm.
time he has to think of registration and legal companies and all that? Because as far as I see, like a lot of initial companies, they haven't registered and they're just running it for 6 months or 7 months.
Mm-hmm.
So what time it would be like? It would be good to think of, okay, this is the point where we need to register the company, because initially, if someone is starting on an idea, like 90% of the people will just start from scratch with the basic investments. What do they have, like the technical investments and all that stuff, rather than
Mm-hmm.
investing on the compliance, rather than investing on the registrations and all that. They're just in a hurry to validate the idea whether that fits into the market, or whether it works out well. And post that, if they gain the confidence, they'll go ahead for uh, these kind of registration. So what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, yeah. So it's a nice question. So my opinion on this part is, so MVP. So if you have taken some opinions and suggestions from the professionals and the product is going well, and if the customer or the person who is an expert after looking into your product, he says, "Okay, yeah, now the customer would be ready to pay for this product." So then I think you can go for the incorporation. So also the second thing what I would suggest is, so while you are doing MVP cutting, you can just incorporate your company. So based upon the idea which you have, so you can just once your company is a private limited company, you can apply for a Startup India registration. Obviously, if your product is nice, it will be recognized by DPIIT. So then post that, you can apply for a grant from the government. So you will be getting, as I said in the presentation, some 20 lakhs of grant from the government of India, also from Startup Karnataka and all. So you can make use of that money for runway. And second advantage of recognizing with DPIIT is the 3 years ka tax will be exempted, and the compliances related to a private limited company will be very less. Just you have to make an investment of initial 20 to 25,000 for incorporation, that's it. So if you go like this, you will be getting a grant from the government. So then you can work some uh, work on your product cutting. Now it is a minimum viable product. You can just take to the that product to the market by using those funds and all.
Yeah, so this will be a basic initial investment. We can consider it like that also. And what
Yeah,
what
yeah,
what will be the basic requirement to get registered onto this DMIT and get the grant? I mean, we should show
yeah.
them a
So
certain amount of data or certain years of running successfully, or what is it?
yeah, so the thing is, as I have started a company by name BCS. It's Simple Consultancy Services. We are providing legal and financial services focused on the startups and growing businesses. So let's say, as your question was, the criteria is, your company should be a private limited company. Once it is a private limited company, we can apply for a Startup India registration. So once it is recognized, obviously, if it is a tech product, it is recognized by the government of India. So based upon that, we will be helping out you in terms of getting the grant. Let's say, for
I'm
example,
I'm
if
I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry to interrupt. Uh, Actually, I was also concerned about the criteria for registration of a registering as a startup India. Okay,
Hmm.
and I rather than just a tech product, what if the product is already available in the market? If it is not a new product or if it is not a new innovation, I mean, if it is not an innovation, can still it be considered for a startup India certificate? So if you could elaborate more on the criteria, what are the criteria
Yeah,
actually?
so my thing is, as I was answering to the previous question. So first, while you are working on MVP, you will be taking some of the opinions and suggestions from the professionals, right? Your experts and all. So then itself, you wanted to enter into the market. If you are developing some product which the competitors are already doing it, then it doesn't make sense, right?
See, in my case, just to
Mm-hmm.
elaborate, like in my case, I found a
Mm-hmm.
real problem that
Okay.
certain group of our community of business people are facing to collaborate
Mm-hmm.
among each other and share business among each other. So right now they're doing on WhatsApp. They're facing some difficulties. So I'm just
Mm-hmm.
adding on a software to their community so that they can collaborate more and share more business. So I'm
Yeah.
closely
So this
working
is
with some people here. Here the question is, I have not consulted the professionals in the field who will be validating these ideas. I'm just working on the core problem of what they are facing, and they're ready to pay me for that.
Okay, so my thing is, if they are ready to make the payment, so based upon this analysis, you can proceed further. See, my opinion is, if you are building something, if the customer is ready to make the payment, then obviously you can start selling that product to the customers, right? Yeah, so based upon that, again, you will get this benefits and all.
If any service providing company can register for this Startup India initiative?
Yes, yes, it can be registered, but getting a grant would be difficult. And also, service in the sense, I suggest at the time of applying for Startup India, we can add whatever the service you are providing, you are going to involve some of AI or tech related aspects in the future. By implementing this in the PPT, we can pitch to the government. By this, it will be recognized. So this is completely again on the third party person who is applying on behalf of you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Can a partnership firm register 10 years back? Can we register now as a startup in Startup India?
No, partnership is the eligible criteria itself is a private limited company. Partnership firm cannot get a recognition from the DPIIT. So if you wanted to enter or get registered with the Startup India, you wanted to incorporate your business as a private limited company.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Ji,
Yeah,
Assalamu alaikum.
Once.
Mohin bhai, I have some very simple questions. One of
Okay.
the question, I do provide the manpower supply to the companies. For example, the Wipro is hiring the candidate from us. They say CTC will be around 25K. But in hand, the candidates get the 19K only approximate, for example.
Okay.
And the candidate grumbles very much, a lot of reduction and all. So my question is that where is this 5-6K going up? Means it will be belonging to the candidates only finally?
Yeah, so actually, this is completely related to the taxation part. And here, the 200, obviously, it's a government mandatory to reduce the professional tax, and 1,800 will be the PF amount. And also, he wanted to see his pay slip. It will be clearly mentioned in the pay slip all the deductions amounts where it is going.
No, finally he will be getting his PF refund back after some months or some time.
Yeah, PF ka how it works is most of the people prefer take withdraw the PF amount at the time of retirement. But some of the people, in case of emergency, there's a web portal where you can directly go and withdraw the money due to emergencies, and you can make utilize of those funds because that amount is yours.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Sajid, one more question. We do provide the technical trainer to the some companies.
Can you
And
please be a little bit louder?
yeah, and finally it ends up like that. The trainer what we have provided, they get aligned with the company directly, and we become out of that structure.
Sorry, Mr. Ajas, can you please come again with the question? I
Yeah,
didn't.
we do provide some technical trainer to some of the corporate training companies. And finally it ends up like that. The trainer and that corporate company, they get aligned directly between each other in the next project, and we become out of that process finally. How to avoid this, Sarji?
Acha. So this is so you are telling you are a training based company where you will be providing the training to the employees, right?
Yeah, we are providing the trainer to the training
Okay.
companies.
Acha. So what happens? Then the company is directly.
Yeah, in the next project, in the next requirement, the company will approach the trainer directly with their mobile number, and they align directly, and we become monkey out.
This is completely related to sales aspect of thing. What we can do is I have shared my contact number on the PPT. You can directly connect me. This is a completely sales perspective question. So I'll help you out personally on this aspect.
Okay, sir. One more last question, sir, please. If
Sure,
I'm
sure.
getting some projects from my personal contacts, so offshore based, Europe based projects,
What kind of projects? Sorry to
software
interrupt you.
development projects.
Okay, okay.
So what are the means I'm doing it at my freelancer level, personal level. Okay. But what are the compliances required in this law as per the legally?
Acha, acha. So if you are doing this on your personal basis, there are no compliances involved in this. But one thing I wanted to put it across here, if you are getting many projects from abroad, so why don't you go with some establishing one business structure, opting a partnership firm or LLP, so that you can build a brand or also expand your business and also build a trust among the customers. But there will be no compliances as you are dealing this personally.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, okay.
Hello,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is Junaid.
yeah.
I have registered a company around 2 years back, and we
Okay.
provide training and software. We develop softwares also. So
Mhm.
now, if you want to register for Startup India, we are eligible for that.
You are providing the services. So it's what kind of business structure you have currently you are
We have
running?
a private limited company. We have registered
Yeah, yeah. You
incorporated
can apply
status
for
of
that. Yeah, you can apply for
okay.
that. If you need
And
any
what
help, you can just contact me.
yeah. And
Hmm.
during the process, what we did, we were facing problem with GST. So we
Hmm.
have surrendered that GST because
Hmm.
we were not able to do any transaction due to that. And someone said that limit is of 20 lakh. After that,
Hmm.
again, you can get GST back. So,
Hmm.
so without GST, we are eligible to apply for that Startup India registration.
No, Mr. Junaid. No, in the sense, first, I have to evaluate your business records and all. If there is any GST ka issue is going on, then that will be a problem. That is a kind of barricade. So first, but one thing is as your company is a private limited company, it is eligible. So due to this GST ka issue, first we have to remove this, solve this problem, and then we can apply for Startup India.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. You provide this kind of services?
Yes, yes. You can personally reach out to me. I'll help you out with this process, inshallah.
Uh,
Okay.
is your office based in Hyderabad, Muin sir?
No, it's based in Bangalore.
Bangalore. So we can actually contact you via phone or like this video conferencing, I suppose.
You can contact me via I have mentioned the phone number on the slide, and also you can connect me with the G Meets or Zoom meetings and all.
I see, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, even I had one question. Like we are
Hmm.
into wooden toys manufacturing. Okay,
Nice.
and
Okay.
we have started very recently. We have registered 6 months back in the month of July or something. We have registered. So
Okay.
even I was considering getting a Startup India certificate, and I was looking forward for the grants. But that's the reason I was asking. Since the wooden toys are being manufactured by quite a number of companies now, they are very
Hmm.
small, but they are. It has already been, take the fashion has already kicked off. So if I apply for a Startup India certificate, so will I be qualify? Will I qualify for it for the
No.
application, or will I get it?
No, Mr. Fahim, sorry to inform you that you can't. It's you are not qualified for this. The reason being is the startups which are getting recognized by the government are tech startups, and also for manufacturing there are certain other benefits provided by the government of India.
Okay.
But for Startup India, it's not eligible.
For
So
startup,
what I will, yeah,
yeah, yeah,
for what
please.
what I will do is, as you please share me your business details and all to me personally on WhatsApp. So
Okay.
there are other benefits provided by the government for this manufacturing companies. So I'll help you out with those benefits to you.
Yes, please. I'll share the details with you. Thank
Sure,
you.
sure, sure.
Jazakallah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
जी मोइन भाई साहब actually I want to know whether it's for health products, so where it should be registered. Like I'm a homeopathy doctor and I want to introduce an homeopathic medicine for diabetes.
Okay.
For that, which I'm planning to establish a company. So
Okay.
how do I
Okay.
proceed with that? Please kindly guide me.
Yeah. It's simple, Mr. Nauman. Yeah, you can just go with the business, opting the business structure. So, my first question is, before establishing a company, so the product which you have developed for the diabetes, so how
Yeah,
is the response from the customers?
it's good.
It's good.
Yes.
And if the response is good, and based upon the market and all, you can go for a private limited company.
Yes.
If it's a startup, and as this is a kind of product based company, health product,
Yes.
so if the customer's response was not good, I would have suggested to go for partnership firm. As the customer
Okay.
response is good, if you wanted to scale and grow your business, I would suggest you to go for private limited company.
Sure.
Yeah,
So
but
for that
again,
startup in India, can I register for that? No.
no, for startup
Okay.
India only, it is related to the tech products.
Oh, tech product. Okay. So for health
Yeah,
products, any
there are some other
benefits?
benefits. Yeah, so you can personally connect with me on this
Sure.
part. You can just ping me. You can also connect me on LinkedIn. I'll help you out. There are some other benefits provided by the government on health products and all, so I'll help you out with those processes.
Sure. Sure.
So
So what would be the
respecting one Ayurveda ka, this thing itself is going on. Event is going on by Startup India, where they are selecting some of the startups for some grants and all, only for Ayurvedic products.
Acha,
So
Ayurvedic
I
one?
will
Ji,
share all
sir.
those links and all with you. Just ping me on WhatsApp. I'll
Oh,
share all those links with you, so that it
but
will be
this
helpful.
is in a homeo, no? That's for Ayurveda you're telling.
Okay. This is homeopathic, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So
So
I
for in the homeo, there is any benefits or only for Ayurveda they're providing right now?
no, there are other benefits. You just ping me. I'll share
Sure, sure.
those details and all with you.
Sure, I'll do that. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
Any
that's
more
all.
questions?
I don't see any other questions coming up. So
Yeah.
shall we close the session, Minbhai?
Yeah, sure, Doctor.
Okay.
Again, thanks a lot for giving me an opportunity to talk in this platform. Thank you.
Yeah, I had one question. We have received two messages in MFID group saying that we have Google Meet at 11 as well as at 3 p.m. Is it a continuation of this or is it a different one?
No, it's clearly mentioned. It's a career counseling session.
I see.
At 3 p.m. So there will be no presentation. Anyone who has any doubts or questions regarding their careers, so even students or working professionals, so they can join that, and the panel of experts will hear them and will discuss the options and some counseling. So anyone can join that. So anyone from this group, or if you know someone else who needs a career counseling, so they can join at 3 p.m. the same link.
Acha, since the link is same, it was been appended in the same message, I believe. Okay, right. I got it. Thank you, Jazakallah.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum, Moin Saab. I'm a final year BBA student. Are there any internship opportunities at your firm?
Walaikum assalam. Yes, there are a couple of internship opportunities available in our farm. Yeah, so if you are interested, please send me your resume on my contact number, which is being mentioned in the PPT. Inshallah, let's meet up. So you stay in Bangalore?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. You can contact me.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I think that's all we have. So thanks everyone for joining, and thanks Minbhai for sharing very important knowledge, all of us.
Thank
And
you.
so inshallah we'll have further sessions by Minbhai, inshallah.
Okay,
with this
okay, doctor. Okay, okay. Thank you.
session.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.